Thanks for tuning in to the Glossy Podcast. I'm your host, Jill Manoff, and today I'm excited to sit down with Jocelyn Gailliot, founder and CEO of Tuckernuck. Thanks in part to the popularity of its Jackie O-inspired shift dress, which is a style in its private label collection, the 12-year-old Washington, D.C.-based e-tailer has become known as the unofficial outfitter of women on Capitol Hill. So I wanted to ask Jocelyn about the influence of women in Washington and to what extent they're fueling the hashtag Tuckernucking trend. I also wanted to ask about Tuckernuck's business model, considering the instability of fashion's multi-brand e-commerce landscape. What do brands and shoppers want from an online shopping experience? Welcome, Jocelyn. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Oh my gosh, so excited. We were talking offline about the Jackie dress.
Yes.
Runaway sensation. Like, that's when you came onto my radar, and yet you've been around since 2012. Tell me about this dress and the power of this dress, which was inspired by Jackie O. Like, because of Jackie O and that connection, was it less of a surprise to you? Talk to me.
Yes, I feel like these days everyone has discovered us, and a lot is because of some of those pieces like the Jackie dress, but we're kind of like that country star that gets the new artist award where we're like, that's great, thank you, but we have been around for quite some time. So we started the company in 2012 as really busy young professionals that felt like there was not a retail experience that really spoke to us and that made our life easier at that time. And you could either go to big, huge brick and mortar type department stores and be very overwhelmed and spend a whole day searching, or you could go to single label large retailers like a J. Crew, Banana Republic back then. And what we really craved were those boutiques when we would go on vacation destinations that really worked hard to discover new and upcoming brands and pair them with iconic ones. And as busy women, we really wanted it to connect with our lifestyle, and our lifestyle was very much rooted in kind of a fun and full life. And so we launched Tuckernuck online. And the reason that we really launched it was because we were busy and we wanted this life hack for us. And we felt strongly that doing it online would be the best way to target our customer. And so we moved out actually to Palo Alto, my two co-founders and I, and did a real fast incubator program, which was a crash course on online retail back then. And they said, okay, you need to give up half of your company and hire a CTO. And we said, you know what? We think we really just want to spend our money on a really beautiful camera and create rich lifestyle content that was inspirational, aspirational yet attainable, and pair it with this just amazing product that we could get to our customer in as easy a way as possible. And that's really kind of the start of Tuckernuck. And it's always been rooted in busy, successful women and being kind of that life hack for them.
Yes. Well, let's circle back. Who are your co-founders? And was this self-funded when you talk about spending your money?
Yes. My co-founder is my sister, Maddie, and one of her best friends from college, September. And the three of us really have bootstrapped it. We did a friends and family raise in 2015. That was really from angel investors and friends and family. And ever since then, we've built it on profits and a nice line of credit that we've used for inventory purposes with a bank.
Nice. Well, this is for busy working women like yourselves. Was it largely heading into the pandemic focused on workwear? And what's your take on the evolution of workwear?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, we have seen so many social trends in workwear, obviously pre-pandemic, post-pandemic, and during. And we've also seen it, across so many different industries. We're headquartered in DC, so we have become a darling for kind of those powerful women in DC, but we also have seen a lot of virality amongst the finance women. And, we send a lot of packages out to California as well for the kind of movie industry and all. So in general, we really are connecting with just busy women all across the country. And they're not just working women, they're also super busy moms. It's just really more about women that want to get out from behind screens and get out and really live their lives. And they want to still feel confident. They still want to feel stylish. So we do the work for them. We source great new brands. We digest all the trends out there and kind of teach them how to style them. We make them feel confident, and hopefully if their life is easier and we're kind of this little special trick for them, this person that's behind the scenes helping them get out there and be able to do the best version of whatever they're doing, then we've done our job.
Yes. Well, when I think of the Jackie dress, I think about that it's versatile, that it's flattering on many women. How would you describe your focus area? And are all of those adjectives true of your assortment? What's your positioning in the market?
So I think none of us were true fashionistas trained in the fashion industry. I was in finance for many years, and I was wearing kind of very simple, boring black suits. And my friends in New York that were in fashion were looking fabulous. And I felt like there had to be this in between. There had to be a way that you could feel confident, but also a little more conservative and be able to figure out what your own style was. And so that's really, I think, why we launched Tuckernuck also. Every single piece of product that we curate, every single piece that we design, we are sitting there behind the scenes doing it because we see that we're missing it out there. So it's very much, oh, I have to go to a kid's school cocktail party this evening. What would I wear to that? Every single thing is done because it's with purpose, and it's done in a way where it's not going to make you feel self-conscious. It's a way that will just empower you and have purpose in whatever it is that you need to do. I mean, right now we're working on silly things like a full rain suit because I've been spending way too much time on the sidelines of sports games in pouring rain all spring. And so there's a lot of thought and purpose behind what we're making or what we're curating.
Yes. Well, when it comes to an e-tailer, you're by definition, I guess, national, if not international. But I know that you do have a store in Georgetown for the last, maybe since 2016. But tell me, is that, it's interesting that just because you're based in Washington, D.C., you become synonymous with dressing the women of Washington, D.C. And it does the store, that has a lot to do with it. Yes? Tell me about the power of the store and plans for more.
Oh, yeah, it is interesting. So we've seen that the customer that shops in the store and online has a 6 times greater lifetime value for us. And so, I think that is an important part of why we have been successful in DC. I think it's also just because, it starts really when you're starting your own business, where your friends and your family and your network is. And a lot of it was in DC originally. And beyond that, I think the power of a store is we look at it like we are the customer. And so when we're picking the product, when we're designing it, it's would we wear it? What do we need? What are we missing out there? And some of it is what is the next generation looking for when it comes to retail? I think the advent of e-commerce, of all the ability behind free shipping and free returns and all the logistics powering it and apps and things like that, it will shift the way that the consumer wants to shop. And so for us, the store acts as a place, for better or worse, where people do a lot of returns also. They can do exchanges. There's the customer that wants the experience of feeling the product in store, feeling the fabrics, or just working directly with a human being. And so we're really looking at, in terms of our stores, what is the way that we want to shop? I think that there is this potential that the e-commerce becomes what the old department store was. It's a place where the customer can go online, they can filter. They're going to want a lot more options. They're going to want to see as many options as possible because they can use all the filtering tools. Beyond that, we don't think brick and mortar is dead. I want to go and shop in person. But when I go and shop in person, I want that old school specialty store experience. So it's not necessarily let's bring all the product online to stores. It's really how can we create a curated specialty store, high clienteling experience in these areas that are convenient for our customer so that when she does want to shop in person, it isn't extremely overwhelming for her, but it's that old school, high touch, I feel like I'm connected with that boutique owner. She knows what I'm doing. She knows where I'm going, and she's thinking about me and curating a store for me and my needs.
Nice. Well, is it a wholesale model, a traditional wholesale model? You have a buyer, you're buying these items, you're all in for the risk of that.
Oh, you mean for the third-party brands we aggregate?
Yes.
Oh, yes. Oh, they're all wholesale. So
Got
buy the inventory up front and we warehouse it. And we initially drop shipped, and we felt like it was a frustrating experience for our customer. They were receiving different packages from all over. We couldn't control the inventory, so we wanted to control the customer's experience. So we brought it all in-house.
Amazing. Well, tell me about the customer experience and the special details that are really important to you and that your customer has come to look for as the new standard, I guess.
Yeah, I think for us, it's really how can we just always make her life easier? I know earlier on when you were introducing me, we talked about kind of the business model in general in the fashion industry. And, one of the trends I think is to go back to charging now for shipping, making it a little bit harder for returns, that type of thing. Because we have a profitable business model, it's a bit of a liar's poker, kind of contrarian point of view. But I feel like if that's what our competition is starting to do, as long as we can afford to continue to be the most incredible experience for her, then we'll continue to do that. And so some of the things we do now is in a lot of markets, and we're trying to roll out more, we'll offer home pickup as well. So she can just with an app be able to have someone come and grab that return from her doorstep. And we just feel like there is a lot of competition out there. And we also are in competition with brick and mortar. Customers can walk down Main Street these days and go to so many wonderful stores. So how can we make it so that online and offline, she just feels like we are there no matter what to help give her confidence and to support her so that she can go out and not have to think about how to look stylish and confident and just do what she does best.
Well, one way I see that you're doing that is getting in front of big events. I creeped on your Instagram because I saw that your holiday shop was live, or I think it's your party shop on your site.
Yes.
Yes, I looked on Instagram and it has been up since October 8th. Has it ever gone up that early? We are prepped for the holidays.
Yeah, this probably is the earliest we've put it up. When people come back from the summer, all the events start. I don't know if you're feeling incredibly overwhelmed too, but it's just nonstop. And, our girl loves everything from her casual sports wear that she wears on the weekends or at school drop-off to just nonstop event after event. So we've had that party shop up for a while now, and we keep it fresh as we get lots of new brands and new dresses coming in nonstop. But, I think as there becomes more and more product online, the question is always how can we continue to curate it so that it's digestible for her? And we've been so lucky because we have so many fabulous brands now, and they all are so talented. And so we want to make sure that we can bring them all to our customer. But when you're online, it's really how can we continue to break it down for her, though, and still stay curated?
Yes. Some of the brands I was seeing on your site are Veronica Beard, Ulla Johnson, Zimmerman. Come on.
Yeah.
Do you kind of sit in this, would you say like advanced contemporary space?
Yeah, I feel like one of our things that our customer loves about us, which is, once again, it just goes back to the way we want to shop. It's a bit of that kind of high-low price point. We really do span from kind of your entry, sharper price point brands all the way through to kind of those early designer type brands. And I think it's about our customer forming this trust with us and trusting that when we bring her a designer or an advanced contemporary product, it's one that we think is really going to be something she's going to want to use a lot. It's great quality for that price point. And also same with some of those lower price point items. It's built that trust. If we're going to put it on that site, it's because we feel like it's a great value for what it is.
Yes. What can you tell me about your customer loyalty? I feel like she comes back again and again.
She does. She's extremely loyal. And I think some of it is just because we really are in the service industry. We're not trying to push product on her. We really are trying to give her advice. We're kind of like that older, cool sister that you want to go to kind of trust that, we're someone there that is supporting her. And so I think once we do acquire our customer, she's shopping with us at least 6 times a year. And, she really is looking for us to be a one-stop shop for her. So we constantly are saying, what else can we produce for her in this white space that we think isn't available as easily online? Things like, tennis and golf and, pickle type products and home decor for tabletop, all these different things. But the way we always approach it is in a very pragmatic, easy, approachable way.
So fun. Let's talk about that category expansion because we keep saying her, but I know you do men's now too.
We do men. Yeah, we do men. And we do have some great male customers, but we do find that category tends to be mostly shopped by our women looking to dress their guys or get them gifts, things like that. So we also kind of, until we can really focus more on building out that category for the male shopper, we really approach it as I am the female shopper shopping for the men in my life.
Hi, I'm Jill Manoff, the editor-in-chief at Glossy. For nearly 20 years, I've been covering the beauty and fashion industries. With the landscape evolving so rapidly, especially with innovations like AI, staying informed is more crucial than ever. At Glossy, we pride ourselves on delivering well-researched, premium content vetted by our journalists who themselves are industry experts. Our goal is to empower you with the knowledge to make strategic, real-time decisions for your team. If you'd like to subscribe to Glossy Plus to support the work we do, you can go to glossy.co/subscribe. Members receive exclusive access to in-depth research and weekly briefings covering what's happening in fashion, luxury, beauty, and wellness, as well as case studies, invites to member-only events, and so much more. Thank you for being part of our community. Well, let's talk about, you get the customer, they're a fan, they become loyal, but getting in front of them and acquiring customers from the start. I know, like I said, I'm new to Tuckernuck. I think I've worn it at my last 2 events.
Oh, yes. We have to send you more.
I'm obsessed. Yay. Tell me about, what's working to acquire customers?
It spans the gamut. Coming out of COVID, we were very well prepared because we were already online. We didn't have a lot of brick and mortar legacy and we had great content. And as the customer really shifted to shopping online more, we were able to really acquire a ton of new customers because we're bootstrapped, because we've never had venture-backed money to just pour at acquiring customers unprofitably. We've always had to be profitable, which each customer we bring in on day one. And so we are in Meta and Google's fastest growing company disruptor programs, and they really help work with us on how we can continue to be, scaling at this rapid pace and one of the top e-tailers in the country. And a lot of it is just testing and learning. It used to be much easier. This is the first year we've seen that it's a very saturated market online to acquire new customers. And so we really are having to focus a little bit more on the types of content we create and getting a little bit more creative. And it's still very successful, but we are seeing that it is getting harder and harder to acquire customers at the same profitable rate that we were historically. So it's forcing us to get a little creative. I think that's some of also rolling out brick and mortar, getting in front of people in more events and strategic collaborations, things like that. It's definitely, the market is forcing us all. We talk to a lot of people in these programs to just get more, continue to stay creative and ahead of it.
Yeah. On that note, would you say that it pays off or works to your benefit to maybe lean into the idea that you dress those in politics? What comes to mind is talking to a brand called Scale & Theodore, and they're known for dressing women on Wall Street. And they have started doing pop-ups. This is probably years ago now, but pop-ups at some of these financial conferences. And I thought that was so smart. But do you lean in there?
I think we've lucked out because I think the most powerful form of marketing, obviously, is just word of mouth. And I do think in those markets, we've been able to grow that way. And so it's been very, very helpful. I think we haven't targeted those markets specifically. It's more that we really design product thinking about those markets. And I think when that's the case, then naturally it's been able to be successful. So, when we actually truly thought about creating workwear for women, and we brought in a bunch of traditional workwear third-party brands, this was pre-COVID, it bombed. We actually wrote off workwear and we said, oh, she doesn't want to come to us for work. She wants to come to us for all her other lifestyle needs. And then, I think as we just started creating more and more product that we felt was stylish, it was fun, but it was also a little bit more feminine, she then started to find that product, and really it translated to, her feeling great in her work environments.
So cool. Well, private label is newer. Is it 2019?
Yes, it is 2019. Exactly. Yeah.
Tell me about that jump, and if you can tell me what percentage you can attribute to the private label of your sales, because I feel like it's, again, blown up, and I'm sure that's necessitated a whole other team.
Yes, it is. It's like having two different retail labels. I feel like we're still under-resourced a little bit there. So, every year we're trying to get better and better. And I think that's always been our thought process behind Tuckernuck. It's progress. How can we just continue to be better? The reason we launched private label was really because when we first went out to the market, we wanted to just aggregate all these great brands. And what we found was there was a white space. There was a kind of price point where there was that maybe $100 to $300 range where we struggled to find enough product that was elevated, sophisticated, cool, but also at that more sharp price point. And so we started to launch some of our own product at that price point, knowing that, I never want to wear the same brand from head to toe. So for us, Tuckernuck launching that private label was really about being able to offer great, pragmatic, stylish product at that price point. But it was never about the private label taking over third party. I really think as we go back to thinking about some of the disruption in the market with e-tailers, it is really hard to find a profitable business model with just third-party margins. But it's also really hard to have customers come to you when you're just a single label retailer online. So we really tried to create this business model where it's very complementary and it's very important for both to live. I know I want to go to Tuckernuck because I want to see a ton of different amazing brands with amazing different stories. And if the Tuckernuck private label is part of that, that's what's really important, and it's serving a purpose. I just think it's so important. But as we know, the private label margins, you're able to have a little bit better margin there. And so that is really what's able to keep us profitable and to keep us in business and to keep us being able to aggregate all these amazing other brands. So they're very complementary, and it's a really important kind of balance and ecosystem to keep.
Yes. Well, can you replicate the success of the Jackie dress with maybe looking to other women in politics and saying, we need a dress after her? She was iconic for whatever reason.
Yes. If you actually look at our private label, they're named after so many fabulous women all over. But we have a dress called the Chloe dress, actually, which is one that's gone viral in the finance world, which has been fun to watch. It's at every kind of conference and event out there as well. But the mission for Tuckernuck is to inspire a fun and full life. And it really is grounded in things like family and friends and celebration and travel and sport and curious minds. And I think those are all things that all sides of politics, people in this country can find common ground to get really excited about. And so, for us, it really is about being this destination that kind of everyone can come to and feel that there's something that they can fall in love with and be inspired by. And so there are more than just political icons out there that we'll be naming things after. It's just any woman that is, out there doing something impactful with confidence. And, the reason why I think DC has been fun to launch the brand in is because, New York is so fashion and finance driven. DC is always a good reset for us that represents a lot more of the country because it's important capital is really intellectual capital. It's really women that are out there busy and doing things. And so it's less about what are the trends and more how can you digest them and make me feel confident so that I can kind of go out in the world and do what I am trying to do best. So
yes, that was going to be my question because I know that outside of DC, you have New York. I think Texas is a big market.
Yep.
Yes. And I was talking to your coworker and I was like, I don't know of any other fashion brands in DC. Are there any? But yeah, tell me about its placement in the market. It's kind of a happy medium, or how would you describe it?
When we first started it, we were deciding, should it be in New York or DC? And the reality is, we were bootstrapped and we didn't have any money to move and have it all launch in New York. So we launched it above my parents' garage in Georgetown. So some of it was just because that's where we grew up. But I think it's become a really big part of our story. It has been, in hindsight, I think, easier for us to be a bigger fish in small waters. We are pretty much the only fashion brand out of DC. And so that's been really exciting to kind of bring that whole creative and different perspective to DC. We are able to also have incredibly talented creatives that can stay in DC now and don't feel like they have to move to New York or LA to find something that's really fulfilling. But DC really has a ton of North and Southern style. So I think what's happened is the women there have a pragmatic approach to style. They are very stylish, but they also, it's where the South meets the North a bit. So you get that ability to kind of see how fashion translates in a way that can kind of really speak to the whole country.
Love it. What are your expectations for holiday? I'm hearing various predictions.
For holiday in terms of sales?
Your sales. And
okay. I was like, or style trends?
Oh,
I'm like,
yeah.
no.
Ooh, let's touch on that too, because that's fun.
Yeah, exactly. We're still seeing a lot of metallic,
nice.
A lot of sequin. No, in terms of sales, so we're hoping to be able to still grow year over year. We're planning that up in a consistent way. What we've done is try to build the business so we're a little bit less dependent on just Q4 holiday sales. So we really, have a less seasonal retail perspective. And then it also allows us to be, a little bit more full price focused. But obviously, Cyber is coming. It comes fast. And we're always trying to figure out, is Cyber going to be a whole month this year? Is it going to be 2 months now? What is this current trend on holiday sales? So we're still looking, though, for it to be hopefully another year-over-year lift for us.
Yeah. Is that just the goal every year? You want to see growth? How would you describe your trajectory?
So we still, knock on wood, I'm always nervous. We consistently still see at least 40 to 70% year-over-year growth.
Amazing.
So we're predicting that again for this year. And obviously, as the numbers get bigger, it gets a little bit more of a lofty goal. But I think that's why each year we just are able to add more experienced and talented people. And we just get a lot more savvy. And we're kind of all like problem solvers and figuring out how to achieve that next goal. So far we've been able to consistently do it, knock on wood.
That's so great. Have there been any recent hires or positions that you've added or that you're really looking to hire to kind of continue to take it to the next level?
We're just looking right now for more really talented designers. I mean, we have so many great ideas around what it is that we want to design and how we want to design it. But I think it's building out that area. So strong merchandisers, strong, incredibly talented designers, great production people with access to, more factories. It's really just continuing to refine and build out that private label area because we're playing catch up there for sure.
Yes. What is challenging you now besides the search for designers?
Well, there are two things. I think one of the challenges is just we've seen so many different trends in the way the consumer behaves. And so we always have to go back to, okay, how do we want to shop when we try to figure out what's going on? But obviously pre-pandemic, then in the pandemic, there were so many big, spikes in the way they were behaving and then post. And now I feel like we're getting into, a little bit more of less, she needs a lot of newness all the time and more stability. We're seeing trends around purchasing a little bit earlier now in advance, be more thoughtful, building out your basic wardrobe needs again, and less kind of erratic coming out of COVID. So it's really been interesting trying to figure out what her habits are going to be. And then I think the other one is really just continuing to be savvy on the customer acquisition side of things. I mean, marketing digitally is tougher online these days. And so, we're still very successful there, but we're definitely exploring a lot of different other ways so we can stay ahead of it.
Nice. Have you explored resale or rental?
No, we haven't. Resale is something we're definitely looking at, though. It's interesting. There's a private Facebook page that has tens of thousands of Tuckernuck fans in it, and it's just reselling all of our old product nonstop. And so there's already a big market out there for it. So, it's something we're interested in. Also, just because, any way that we can try to be a little bit more circular and a little bit more thoughtful around how the customer is shopping and returning and sustainability of that product, the better. So there are a lot of companies and apps and things like that out there right now that we're kind of exploring and trying to see how it could best fit our customers' needs.
Yes. And people are still talking about who the heck is playing on TikTok. I'm 44. I'm on TikTok. Are people Tuckernucking on TikTok? And are you leaning into that?
Yeah. I have a TikTok account, so I can see the Tuckernuck TikTok. Other than that, I am not savvy with it. It is, though, an area that we are definitely testing. And we have some hilarious teammates that really take the lead on it and are really, really, really funny. But it's still, we have not seen a ton of success there yet, and is an area that we've been told will have a lot of growth, but it's not something that we have quite seen yet, but we are definitely testing it.
Yes. Well, last question. We see the waves, the media impact when somebody dresses a politician. It doesn't have to be a politician, but who would you love to wear your clothes?
Oh, that's a great question. My mom, she's so picky these days. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah?
Kind of, yeah, but she really is our ultimate test. I'm like, if I can make a short that she will wear and love, then I've made it.
But all generations, yeah, is the focus.
Oh, yeah, we're very multi-generational. I think that's our favorite shopper. It's the mother-daughter duo that comes in, and we always are thinking about that. And for us, it becomes this really fun experience for them. But, in general, I think Kate Middleton is always someone that has great, style. That's kind of an obvious choice. But, really for us, it's always, which of our stylish friends or family members can we continue to get to fall in love with the product? And then if we do that, then we feel like it's great product and we're winning. So
yes, I love that.
Baby steps.
You have a dress. Like I always think of Kate Middleton in those fabulous, it's like a sheath dress, whatever she wears. Do you have a Kate sheath dress that could be your next hit?
That is definitely the next one we need to do. Yes. And it's always in like a beautiful jewel tone color or something. It's very, yes.
I'm going to wear that when you make it. Okay.
Okay. I'll send it to you. Are you a mini or a maxi girl?
Oh, I'm like a pencil skirt knee length girl.
Ooh, I love that. That's very fashion forward of you these days because the knee length is still, I feel like, hard for our customer. We're still trying to get her to go back to wearing that. I love a pencil skirt knee length.
Everybody always is like, you're tall, you can do a maxi. It is not flattering on me. What are you?
I think I'm a pencil skirt knee length girl as well. Yeah, you found your match.
Yes, I love it. You know what's up. Oh my gosh, Jocelyn, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much too. This was fun.
That's all for this episode. Our theme music is by Otis McDonald. Be sure to give us a rating on Apple Podcasts or wherever you're listening to the Glossy Podcast. See you next week.